Hello and welcome to this edition of Business Spotlight. My name is Reza Korodous from Action Coach, and I'm delighted to be joined today by Indi Gregg, the founder and CEO of Wedo. Hi, Indi.
Hi, nice to be here. Thank you.
Great to have you with us. So, Indi, I just wanted to start off by asking you about what it is that you do. I know that your company has developed an app for financial building, financial and banking. It's a financial banking app. So tell us more. Tell us a little bit more about it, please.
Yeah, so Wedo AI is more than just your typical neobank. We enable you to be able to automate your invoicing, automate your contracting, match jobs through our AI matching system. And we also issue you a debit account so that you can go from A to Z with your client, get on the app, do a video call, set up all of your milestones, how you're planning to work with your client. If you're a business, how you're planning to work with a customer, for example. And then you can go ahead and automate your invoicing, set up monthly recurring subscription payments if that's the way you bill, or however you want to set that up. And we don't take a commission like some of the other freelance platforms might, or some of the other business platforms might. We make our money through a monthly SaaS subscription and through payments and transactions. So the model is a lot more friendly towards your average freelancer or your small business owner who is working online or maybe working remotely. And it also enables you to manage your teams and track what you're doing on a regular basis through the application. So it's kind of a more all-round business application. And we also work across all the global currencies, except for the ones that are banned, of course, and cryptocurrency. So you have 200 plus currencies you can pay out with globally, and also crypto. And so we just took something that existed in market and made it really convenient for someone to be able to use multiple pieces of technology all in one unified, cohesive, seamless ecosystem.
Yeah, well, it sounds quite amazing, actually. It does all of those things, and very useful. So what got you the idea? What inspired you to start this business?
Well, I've been an entrepreneur for about 30 years, but the last 10 years before I started this business, I worked in fintech, and I also worked as a freelance consultant. So I would go in and work with startups and do their operations piece, or work on some technology, building maybe an app or their websites. And I got frustrated using the platforms that existed in market and currently do exist. When you would have a lower billing client and the platform would take, say, 20% or sometimes 10 or 15% off of your, $10,000 you made or $20,000 you made for each client. And at the end of the year, of course, that's a massive chunk, pre-tax, massive chunk of change that's coming off of what you're billing. And so I was dreaming of a solution and looking everywhere to find a solution that would do this kind of more streamlined way of working with my clients. So I'm not jumping from app to app to app to app just to get my job done, just to get my work done in terms of the admin. And it didn't exist. And I thought, well, I'm going to build it. And so I guess, at first I was building it for myself because I guess necessity, they say, is the mother of invention, right? And as I got more into it, I thought, oh, I really should put a team around this and take this more seriously, because the prototype that I built, if it's working for me, it can work for everyone. And so we've been building it out ever since. So, yeah.
Sounds amazing. And we know businesses have challenges when they start. Did you face any challenges, and what are the ones that you'd like to share with us?
Well, obviously, for a female founder, the biggest challenge is simply the sex, being a woman, right? Who you are, which makes it sometimes a little bit more difficult to do things like raise capital or to be taken seriously. But we got out the gates. It took us about 6 months after doing some bootstrapping to get our first investors in. And so, yeah, that was a challenge. Of course, for almost everyone in startup land, this past year has been a pretty big challenge for most companies. Very difficult climate to be raising capital in. Investors expecting a lot more from the company than what they might be at the stage that they're in. So, again, it's about being a bit innovative to get yourself through those hurdles, doing special deals that you probably wouldn't make in other climates, and just working to keep your head up and keep plugging through, because we all know that the name of the game is like how long you last. You don't, if you really only fail when you give up. There's a million different ways to move a company forward during times like these. But yeah, and other than that, just staff dying on me, and we had a couple of really close staff members that were really like family in a small company like this who passed away in the past year. Yeah, it seems like everywhere you turn as a startup funder, there's some obstacle or hurdle or punch in the stomach, and you just have to get up and keep going,
Yeah, absolutely. And was there a turning point in your business journey from when you started, other than, when you actually got your first funding? Was there anything else that actually there was a milestone that accelerated your growth or helped you get to where you are right now?
I think pivoting from the original market we started in, we started out thinking that we would be going for more fitness coaches, physical kind of things at the very beginning. And as soon as we pivoted towards freelancers, because I wasn't happy with being in, I'm not gonna say I'm not fit, but I'm not the fittest person in the world. It didn't really align with who I am as an individual or why I wanted to start the company. And we kind of gone down that angle of, it's been COVID, people will be looking for fitness. And I think everybody was thinking in that direction at the time. And as soon as I kind of put my foot down and said, look, I think it's going to be this independent contractor market. I think more and more people will be working from home due to this. And let's focus in this area, in this niche in the market. And at that point, when we started testing that market, we very quickly had 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 signups. And I think now we're up to 120,000 or so signups. So it's rapidly grown, and we found out that that's really where our market is. And so that was a big decision, but I think it was a good decision. You might say everyone does fitness, but that doesn't mean they're going to use your app. And so switching to a more focused niche really made a difference for us.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. And obviously you touched on some of the competitive points, advantages you bring to the table over some of the other platforms that you mentioned. What are the other competitive advantages? What are the other benefits you bring to the table? Or maybe expand a little bit more on the ones that you already mentioned.
Well, I think differentiation in this market is really important. The biggest advantage, I mean, if you look at the pain points of how independent or very small businesses, 1 to 2 man shows work, they don't have big budgets. So spending a lot of money on multiple pieces of software often isn't an option. So the advantage is keeping the cost low for the end user and also making it fluid so that they can use something and it feels seamless. The second advantage is, of course, the improvements in AI over the past year that maybe some of the legacy companies that are already incumbents in market don't have the infrastructure to necessarily support, or the habits with their customers that need to be retaught how to enable them more with using AI. I guess the third big advantage is that we've baked the payments embedded into the ecosystem. And by that, I mean, we're not reliant on third parties in order to run the payments piece. And payments, of course, fintech it's a very important piece of fintech. And then I guess another one is having the cryptocurrency advantage, where you could actually take a payment, make a payment, or store your money in crypto and convert it quite easily through the application. And this was something that didn't exist in many apps several years ago. And now it's it's possible to do that through the debit card and through your payments infrastructure that we've built. So I'd say we have quite a few small advantages. Probably the biggest advantage is our team is small enough, agile enough that we can very quickly test things and bring items to market and look at them without having to go through a massive hierarchy. That's always kind of the David Goliath show, isn't it? You know, the small smooth stone. But I guess, you know, in terms of competition, because it's such a massive market, it's a $2 trillion market globally. It's $1.5 trillion in the United States already. So it's a mass market, and more people are working in a hybrid situation, working from home or, you know, working away from the office. And we can see that in London, you know, with the amount of office space available. Every time you go visit a company, there might be 10 people there, whereas before you would have been seeing hundreds. And although we'd like that to change and everyone would love to have people come back to the office, the reality is people are more efficient working where they feel the most comfortable. So I don't think that's going to change. I think it's a trend that we can really use to our advantage for multiple things within the app in terms of revenue stream and making life more convenient for people.
And you mentioned the team, you know, being a central part of that competitive advantage, the ability to be agile and respond to the requirements of the market. I wanted to ask you a question about the team and your approach to hiring and keeping the team together. What is that? I mean, you've been an entrepreneur for a long time. How do you approach that, and what tips do you have for anybody perhaps wanting to learn about, you know, doing
well,
this?
I think when you're hiring people, you always look for integrity, work ethic, and ability to be a team member, ability to contribute to a whole rather than just look after themselves. So within our culture, it's a very much sharing information and sharing knowledge and spending time with each other and not trying to one up or play games, you know. So in a small team, you know, jerks and assholes stand out pretty quickly, right? So I guess for me in a small team, I'm looking for integrity, I'm looking for grit, I'm looking for people who understand this is a startup and a lot of things that you do in a startup cross over. It's not, you know, you don't have this kind of big line of hierarchy and reporting system where it doesn't go noticed if you haven't got the job done. Your teammates are really dependent on you, and that makes what a team, you know, like just like in football or in any other game, right? I consider it like, you know, if you're going to be my guard, or you're going to be the shooter, or whatever you're going to be, you know, you need to be playing with the rest of the team. So that's what I look for mainly. And obviously the usual suspects, like just being honest and being forthright and like actually talking about things before they become real problems. That those types of pieces of personality are pretty important in a small team like this.
And it's interesting that you talk about personalities and attributes and attitude as opposed to skills. We know that you need the skills to do the job, but everything you said was about which is very interesting.
You know, it's what's funny is if you have a really great person and they're intelligent, skills can almost be taught to anybody. I mean, you can teach people to code, you can teach people to work on a marketing and give them a short learning curve and they let them fly with it. They usually can do a pretty good job if they have the right attitude, at the right, you know, gumption in them. So I'm less worried. I'm less impressed by the fact that you have a degree from MIT, but you've been working at a grocery store for the last 15 years because you know, want to be paid way out of your league, or I don't know, you know, these kind of things don't impress me. I'm more impressed by the guy or the gal who goes out and says, like, this is something, it's the milestone I hit at the last company I worked for, or this is what I really love to do. And they're really clear and honest about what they like to do, because then you know where to slot them in. And the same from our point of view, the more communicative we are about the job description and the type of person we're looking for, we can very quickly eliminate a lot of people. So being really laser sharp about what you want. And that's true of anything of life, isn't it? So
Absolutely. And I guess you in the technology sector, it's very exciting, it's fast moving, there's new developments all the time. Are there any emerging trends, any opportunities that you're excited about that's going to maybe be disruptive, change things? I mean, I think you're already disruptive, but you know what I mean, anything else?
you just in general, I think AI is one of the most amazing things that has happened to the world over the past decade. And the progression we're making in AI is extremely exciting because it allows us to imagine a world where everybody in the world could actually doing something that they love to do, that there'll be no more of this medial work, that we can really draw out the talent and skills of individuals in a huge, massive way like never before. And I think there's all these arguments about AI being sentient or non-sentient. Personally, I think it'd be great if there was an AI developed that wasn't based on the human experience, that we didn't train or teach, that became that sentient, altruistic, non-slave kind of part of our world, because then it wouldn't have any incentive to destroy humans or humanity. But on the flip side, where we are with training the data and the amount of knowledge and the amount of very quick shortcuts that contributes is a big game changer for most technologies. So it's probably one of the most exciting times to live within technology is right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And so with that said, what are your plans and where do you see Wedo and yourself in the next 3 to 5 years and perhaps beyond? Where would you like to be?
I think, well, I would love to already serve the first 10 million or so customers with Wedo, and have improved and obviously embedded all of the future secret sauce that we are planning to build along the course of this business. I would expect probably an IPO or exit within the next 3 or 4 years. And we're hoping to achieve, our financial milestones before that time. And yeah, I'm hoping that we get out there and prove what we've set to prove, and make every, lift every stone and get up that hill as quickly and as efficiently as we can, and that we just make a lot of people's lives better, because this ecosystem that we've built is really built in its core, it's built on the premise of helping more people so that they can help more people. And tools are enablement for millions of people. Without them, and without the internet, without apps, without mobile phones, we wouldn't have the reach. You and I wouldn't be talking to each other right now. And I think we are progressive and build more tools on top of that really change people's lives in a positive way and make things easier for them, and get rid of a lot of the boring work that people don't go into their careers to do. Then we've probably done something cool for the world. So that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, great. And I wish you all the best with that mission, and of course the success that you're hoping for the business. I'm sure you get there. I really appreciate the time you've taken today out of your busy schedule. Really enjoyed our chat. There was lots of great things, golden nuggets, if you like, that I think I took away, and I'm sure anybody watching this would take away as well. So, as I said, all the best for the future, and thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. Thanks a lot.
It's a pleasure.